Okay, so we have AI. We're seeing these organizational shifts. We're also seeing a slight change in how enterprises view and apply Agile. So, with all this happening, the question becomes, is the role of Scrum Master dying or evolving? Well, over the next few minutes, we're going to go over how the Scrum Master role may be changing over the course of the next 5 years. And I'm going to give you a roadmap to help you navigate this new landscape. So, stay tuned. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel and podcast. My name is Robert, and I've been in IT for just about 30 years now. Yeah, it's a long time. And for about 11 of those years, I've been in the Agile space. So during that time, I've been a product owner, Scrum Master, release trained engineer, and Agile coach, all within the scaled Agile space, of course. And what I do on this channel is I advocate for these roles as some of the best ways for mid career professionals to transition into IT, as well as those Gen X hands on IT pros looking to transition into more of a coaching and leadership role. So let's go ahead and get into today's topic. So the other day, I was scrolling and searching through YouTube looking for content on Agile. And I noticed that I kept saying the same thing over and over. Any content related to Scrum, Agile, or even Scaled Agile, it seems as though it's pretty much disappeared. Everything I saw was from 3 years ago, 5 years ago, or even 7 years ago. And so that got me to thinking. It seemed as though the thought was because Agile was not the hot topic like cybersecurity is now, it's almost as if the thought was, let's move on to a different subject, or let's just stop talking about this altogether. And the problem that I have with that is that these roles are still out there. They're just starting to change, or better yet, evolve. And there may be people who are interested in these roles to move into information technology. Better yet, there are people who already have these roles and they're starting to wonder, what exactly are these roles morphing into? So I feel there's a gap there that needs to be filled. And so that's why today we're going to spend some time talking about how the Scrum Master role may evolve over the next 5 years. There are a lot of factors out there that may have an effect on how the Scrum Master role will change over the next 5 years. And that's not just for the Scrum Master. That also applies to product owners, product managers, release train engineers, and agile coaches as well. For the purposes of this topic, though, we're going to stay focused on Scrum Master. What are those factors? We're going to take a look at a couple here. So the obvious one is Gen AI. So we've all heard about how Gen AI is being used to replace entry level and junior roles in these larger, mostly Silicon Valley based tech companies. But even in these Fortune 1000 companies, we're seeing these large scale AI adoption initiatives take place. So what does that mean for you? That means two things, really. One, you're going to need to adopt and learn how to use these tools or agentic partners, as the case may be. The second thing that it means is that you're going to need to start showing measurable improvement in productivity as you learn to use these tools. Now, the second factor is a move away from structured frameworks. And there's actual data to back this up. There are two reports that I believe are produced annually. Don't hold me to that. But one is called the State of Agile, and that's produced by a company called Digital AI. The other is the State of Safe, and that's produced by Scaled Agile. And in both reports, there's data that indicates that large enterprises are more likely to move towards less structured, more hybrid, customized approaches to product and solution delivery. But even with these factors out there today, there's still an opportunity for Scrum Masters to stay ahead of the game. So let's do a couple of things. Let's look at how Scrum Masters work today, at least how they're perceived to be working today, anyway. And then let's look at how their role may change in the next 5 years. So, how do Scrum Masters work today? So, currently, Scrum Masters are perceived to be meeting schedulers, meeting facilitators, and dependency coordinators. So, let's talk about meeting schedulers. So, this involves setting up meetings like the daily Scrum or the daily stand up or team syncs, grooming sessions or refinement meetings, iteration or sprint planning, iteration reviews, or retrospectives. As meeting facilitators, they manage the meeting. So they make sure that the appropriate people attend the meetings. There is a specific agenda for the meeting and specific inputs and outputs for the meeting as well. with dependency coordination just before, during, and after the sprint or iteration. The Scrum Master is ensuring that the dependent teams have been identified and that they have committed to doing the work. That work will be done in sync with the team's iteration or sprint, and the dependent team will be part of the review and the subsequent release. So, how might the role of Scrum Master, whether perceived or otherwise, change within the next 5 years? Well, more than likely, they may become automation experts or skilled data analysts or AI and human collaboration coaches. Okay, so automation expert. So, this is someone who has become adept at understanding the workflows and tasks, as well as the workflows and tasks of their team members. And they've been able to identify those tasks that are mundane, required, and in a lot of cases repeatable, but they don't necessarily lend themselves to a lot of value. And so these are prime candidates for automation. And that automation can happen via Gen AI or within the rules automation tools that are embedded within the Agile and product delivery tools that you're currently using. Okay, so skilled data analyst. So as a Scrum Master, you spent a lot of hours forging through velocity charts, burn down charts, and now what you'll do is you'll have AI analyze that data for you. And AI can actually pull some insights out of that data that you can use to put together a strategic plan for your team. For example, you may have noticed that your team consistently misses on their commitments, and they've done that for the last 2 or 3 sprints or iterations, as the case may be. You can have AI do a deep dive and analyze the data and pull some insights out that you may have missed. It could be that a dependency commitment has consistently been missed, or a developer was pulled away during testing to help resolve a defect. And for whatever reason, that defect never made its way into the iteration. So that's an example of how the Scrum Master could transform into a skilled data analyst. AI and human collaboration coach. So, although we're in the nascent stages of this, we're already beginning to see teams adopt AI based tools and counterparts such as GitHub Copilot for developers and AI based automation tools like UiPath for testers. And this adoption is just going to continue to grow. So, what that means for the Scrum Master is that their role is going to evolve from just being a framework coach to one that is more of a collaboration coach. So, one that develops best practices to help the teams collaborate with their AI counterparts. And one of the best ways to do this, I talked about this before, is to help the teams identify their workflows, their monthly and weekly workflows, as well as those tasks within the workflows and those more granular steps within those tasks that would make the best candidates for automation. So, in a nutshell, the Scrum Master's role is going to be one that assists the teams in collaborating with their AI counterparts in optimizing delivery. So, how do we begin to develop a practical roadmap to help us navigate through this new landscape? Well, let's take a look at a few things that we need to add to the roadmap and a couple of things that we'll need to take away. AI fluency. So gaining depth of knowledge in these AI tools and really counterparts is what they are, and how you can integrate these into your current workflow as a Scrum Master and help your teams or coach your teams on how they can automate and optimize their workflows as well. Okay, so one skill that you may already have that you'll definitely want to keep is a human-based skill, and it's emotional intelligence. And what that entails is just having awareness and control of your emotions, as well as awareness of your team's emotions, and earning their trust by giving them a safe space to have conversations that they normally wouldn't have, mitigating conflict, guiding instead of dictating, these kinds of things. So, the last item that we definitely want to make sure we keep on the list is value alignment. So, as a Scrum Master, hopefully you're already familiar with ensuring that the teams have sprint or iteration goals. So we're just going to take that a step further and link those goals to business or customer value. And one of the best ways in doing that is aligning the goals to OKRs or objectives and key results. So let's talk about a couple of things that we may need to take off the roadmap. And one of those may be meeting scheduler. So scheduling meetings is not an actual documented duty of the Scrum Master. It just may be one of those things that they're tasked with doing in order to keep the flow of work going or to protect the team. But some organizations may still have that perception of the Scrum Master. But regardless, if you find yourself having to schedule ad hoc meetings a lot, these non-recurring meetings. This may be an opportunity to go ahead and automate that. An example of doing that would be automate the process of turning your unstructured notes into meeting minutes and then automatically transferring those meeting minutes into a meeting invitation with a structured agenda. So the next one that we want to get rid of is tools updater. So if you're spending a lot of time transitioning user stories and other work items and updating estimates and prioritizations, etc., you definitely want to start to automate these things. So the key here is that you want to free yourself up to be able to focus on the things that we are keeping on the roadmap. Okay, so let's wrap this thing up. So the Scrum Master role is not really dying, but it is evolving. And that's a good thing because you see, these agile roles need to evolve along with or alongside the current or emerging technologies so they can survive. So start to make the adjustments now that we talked about to your personal roadmap, and you'll stay ahead of the game. All right. So as always, I wish you well on your endeavors, and I'll see you in the next one. Hey, thanks for tuning into the podcast and the channel. If you found any of this content to be helpful to you, please take a moment to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so that you don't miss future episodes. Thank you.